Every day, without even realizing it, your mind is pulling strings behind the scenes. Quick decisions, gut reactions, flashes of judgment, they feel like your true instincts. But what if they aren't? Daniel Kahneman, a psychologist who won the Nobel Prize, spent decades exploring how two distinct systems inside us shape every thought, decision, and action we take. In his groundbreaking book, Thinking Fast and Slow, he revealed a hidden battlefield within our minds, one that most of us never even notice. But why do we trust our gut so easily, yet struggle to make thoughtful decisions under pressure? And how can two minds exist inside one brain without us knowing? Stick around until the end, because understanding how your mind really works might just change everything. Meet the two systems. Kahneman's discovery centered around two modes of thinking. System 1 is fast, intuitive, and emotional. It's what helps you swerve out of the way of a speeding car without consciously thinking about it. It's why you recognize a friend's face instantly in a crowd or finish someone's sentence before they do. System 2, on the other hand, is slow, deliberate, and analytical. It's what kicks in when you're solving a tough math problem, writing a legal argument, or making a difficult life decision. These two systems usually work together, but their relationship isn't always harmonious. System 1 prefers shortcuts and quick answers, even if they're wrong. System 2 demands energy and focus, which means it often stays on the sidelines unless absolutely necessary. Most of the time, we cruise through life on autopilot, letting System 1 make the calls while System 2 naps in the background. The mind's shortcuts and pitfalls. The trouble is, shortcuts aren't always safe. Cognitive biases are mental traps that emerge when System 1 tries to take the easy route. One common trap is the anchoring bias, where the first piece of information you hear heavily influences your decisions, even if it's irrelevant. Walk into a store and see a jacket marked down from $600 to $300, and suddenly $300 feels like a bargain, even if the jacket isn't worth half that. Another bias is the availability heuristic. After hearing about a plane crash on the news, you might overestimate the danger of flying, despite statistics showing it's still one of the safest ways to travel. Confirmation. Bias makes things worse by pushing us to seek information that supports what we already believe, while ignoring anything that challenges it. And the framing effect proves how easily our choices can be swayed, depending on how a question or situation is presented. Two identical options, one labeled as 90% success, another as 10% failure, can trigger completely different emotional reactions. System 1 loves these mental shortcuts because they feel fast and easy, but they often leave us blind to better, smarter choices. The illusion of understanding. One of the most dangerous tricks our mind plays on us is the illusion of understanding. Hindsight. Bias convinces us that events were predictable after they happen, even though they weren't. You miss an important flight, and afterward you tell yourself all the signs were obvious, even though at the time they weren't clear at all. This mental trick doesn't just affect our memories, it affects how we prepare for the future. Overconfidence. Bias pushes us to believe we know more than we actually do. Investors make risky trades, leaders underestimate challenges, and ordinary people make impulsive life decisions, all because they trust a gut feeling that might not have any real grounding. The more confident you feel, the more careful you need to be, because sometimes confidence isn't a reflection of knowledge, but a blindfold over your eyes. Prospect theory. Kahneman and his research partner, Amos Tversky, didn't just talk about how people think. They fundamentally changed how we understand economics and human behavior through prospect theory. Traditional economics assume that people are rational and weigh risks logically. Prospect theory shattered that illusion. Kahneman found that we fear losses much more than we value gains. Losing $100 hurts far more than winning $100 brings happiness. This loss aversion affects everything, from how we invest our money to how we approach relationships and career moves. It's not just the size of the gain or loss that matters, it's where we set our mental reference points. If you expect a raise and don't get it, you feel like you've lost something, even if your salary stayed the same. Kahneman's work showed that we are not purely rational creatures making clean calculations. We are emotional beings deeply influenced by fear, hope, and memory. Real-world applications. These insights aren't trapped inside psychology books. They influence real decisions in the real world every single day. In courtrooms, cognitive biases shape how juries and judges view evidence. A defendant's appearance, the way a lawyer frames an argument, or even irrelevant numbers can heavily skew verdicts and sentencing. In the business world, executives fall into mental traps like the sunk cost fallacy, throwing good money after bad, because they've already invested so much rather than cutting losses and moving on. In marketing, companies expertly manipulate biases to trigger urgency and fear of missing out, pushing consumers to buy products they don't even need. Even in medicine, doctors sometimes anchor on an initial diagnosis without considering alternative explanations, leading to misdiagnoses. Bias isn't rare. It's everywhere, quietly shaping choices from billion-dollar deals to life or death judgments. Experiencing versus remembering. Kahneman also revealed that inside each of us live two separate selves, the experiencing self and the remembering self. The experiencing self lives every moment as it happens, feeling the warmth of the sun, tasting a delicious meal, laughing at a joke. The remembering self, however, looks back and tells the story. It decides whether an experience was good or bad and uses those judgments to shape future choices. What's startling is how often we prioritize the remembering self over the experiencing self. We'll endure long lines, stress, or discomfort just to create memories we think will feel worthwhile later. A vacation filled with small annoyances can still be remembered fondly if it ends on a high note. This gap between living and remembering explains why we sometimes chase things that don't make us happy in the moment, but make for a good story later. Understanding this difference can change how we prioritize experiences if we choose to pay attention to it. Strategies for better thinking. Recognizing that our minds are wired for shortcuts doesn't mean we're helpless. We can fight back, but it takes conscious effort. The first step is awareness. Simply knowing these biases exist weakens their power. The second is learning to slow down. System 1 thrives on speed, but System 2 demands patience. Taking a pause before making important decisions gives your slower, wiser system time to catch up. Third, we must question ourselves. What evidence am I missing? Could I be wrong? What assumptions am I making? These little mental checks engage System 2 and expose blind spots. Fourth, embracing humility is crucial. Admitting you don't know everything doesn't make you weaker, it makes you smarter. And finally, practicing mindfulness helps us stay present, aware, and less reactive. We can't eliminate bias completely, but we can build habits that protect us from its worst effects. Our minds are incredible but complicated machines. Fast thinking gives us survival instincts. Slow thinking gives us wisdom. The tension between these two modes of thought creates much of the brilliance and much of the blindness that defines human life. Kahneman's work isn't just about identifying errors, it's about understanding ourselves more deeply. Every snap judgment, every mistaken memory, every overconfident prediction, they're part of the story our brain writes every day. But now you know the tricks it plays. You can catch them in the act. If this journey into the secrets of your mind sparks something in you, don't forget to like, share this video with a friend who needs it, comment your thoughts below, subscribe for more eye-opening content, and smash that bell icon so you never miss another insight that could change how you see the world.